Whew. Chances are very high that I will regret this within the next 15 minutes. Perhaps I might even question my whole junk journal life after this video. But let's change the style of my Raggedy Turtle Bloom junk journal today. Hi, this is Luise Heinzl. Welcome to this video, which is for me, on the one hand, a really challenging one. Also a bit risky, perhaps, but at the same time, and that is the most important thing, and that is why I do this here today, what I want to do today is, for me, like junk journal reality. Because, let's say, you have made a journal for yourself, for a travel. Let's say you go on holiday and then you want to take your journal and, journal during the holiday. You want to perhaps collect things which you then want to put into your journal. Or you got a journal from a friend. The friend has put effort into making the journal, but you think, okay, I appreciate this gift, but it's absolutely not my style. And what do you then do with the journal? Do you then, obviously you will still appreciate that you got it, and you will probably do something in the journal, but can you feel this feeling that you then perhaps think, it can never become my own journal because there are so many things which are not my style? I can appreciate that the person has put effort into it, but how can I make it my own? And especially when you have things, and these are constructed examples now, these are just scraps from my scrap box, but you can hopefully imagine what I mean. What if you then think, okay, I try something in the style of the journal the person has given to me. You make things where you think, okay, that could fit, and then you perhaps are proud of it. You have perhaps something where you tried new techniques or so, and then you think, how can I now include that in the journal? Because perhaps you have different colors, or you tried something and it ended up with another style, which also doesn't fit here. Yeah, so do you know what I mean? Or you are on holiday, you had some food or so, and you saved the packaging from the food because you think, ooh, nice ephemera, I want to throw that in my journal. But then you think, the colors don't fit, the style doesn't fit, the material is really weird. What can you then do? Or you got, for example, this is just a constructed example, yeah? But perhaps you have a greeting card from someone, and the material is like this, yeah, where you think, what is that? How can that work with my journal? Many of you might now say, yeah, well, that is the beauty of junk journaling, that we can take very, very different things and that we can throw all of that in one and the same journal. But how? Yeah, because that it is possible. Yeah, that is a fact, because that is the beauty and the sense of junk journaling, that we can collect everything and then throw it into a journal. But how? And what does that then do with the journal itself? Will that then change the character of the journal in a way that we still like in the end? And that is what I want to find out. I also thought there are those things in our craft rooms which we which we made ages ago and which we still have. For me, one example of those things are both of these paper clips. I made these ages ago when I released my Ocean Eyes paper collection. There's a video about these paper clips. I will link that down below for you in the description box. This was, by the way, one of my most popular videos. I don't know exactly why. I mean, these are cute, yes, but the video gave me so much struggle because there are all of these tiny pieces. Can you see these little beads? I have put them on there, and I've put a lot of effort into these paper clips. It was a little bit of a struggle, but obviously it makes me happy when the video is popular and when many of you find inspiration from that video. You can find that, as I said, linked below this video. And this obviously fits pretty well to the theme of my journal, but look at these like shiny and nearly kitschy stars on there. Can you see that? I mean, that is totally not the style of this journal here. even if I have some of my Ocean Eyes papers in here, but used in a totally different way than I did this year. So I want to see if we can also put these things we've made ages ago into a journal, which we already have. And then I did something which you can also have if you want. I made a new digital ephemera pack because I wanted to have something where you can also try what I do in this video here, because I thought not everyone has the same things. So I thought I make something which we all can have, yeah, and then you can, if you want, try that out for your own journal as well. So perhaps you have already made a journal with the Raggedy Turtle Bloom collection, and perhaps you want now to take this and do exactly what I do here to experience for yourself what we can experience here during this process. Do you know what I mean? So I made this, and obviously you can also use this separately. Yeah, you don't necessarily need the Raggedy Turtle Bloom collection to use this. Yeah, you can also take this and throw that in any other journal. I think this turned out really, really versatile. So what is this? This ephemera pack is called Down the Shoreline. Do you get it? That's a line or part of a line of the Raggedy Turtle Bloom soundtrack. And I thought this fits just perfectly to this ephemera pack because it's a ton of ephemera. I will go into detail about these strange things here in a second, which is ocean themed, which this doesn't have any turtles. Yeah, it's you know, ocean themed, but without turtles and in a totally different style and in a totally different color palette than the Raggedy Turtle Bloom collection is. And I want to now try to put all of the, not all of them, because that is probably too much, but some of these things in the journal there. Just for your information, there are in this ephemera pack different kinds of ephemera available, even if I will not use everything in the journal now, probably. Because, let's say, these pockets here, for example, I have them for you in the ephemera pack, so that you have pockets with your ephemera, yeah? Let's say you have a journal and you need ephemera, then you obviously need pockets as well. That's why they are in here. In my journal, there are already a lot of pockets, so I'm not so sure if I will really use these from the new ephemera pack there as well, because I already have a ton of pockets. Perhaps I will go with other things than pockets, but we will see that during this video, and perhaps I will even make a second part of this video. I'm not so sure yet. Depends on how much time this will take and, you know, how long I will need to do this. But I just wanted to let you know that in the Down the Shoreline ephemera pack, which is this one, there are also pockets, yeah? Even if I will not need so many pockets. The same for these small tags here. I already have a ton of tags in my journal, so I'm not so sure if I will really use them all, or if I will use some of these perhaps in a different way than you would expect to use a tag. Yeah, but you know, tags are really versatile. You don't have to, I mean, you can not only take them and put them into a pocket and have a journaling space on the back, you can also use them in a different way. You can also, for example, cut them here and do something with a rectangular shape then. You don't necessarily need this tag shape, but you know what I mean. And I also have a ton of tinier pieces in here, like numbers, for example, which are also really, really different to what I have in the journal already. So these, obviously, you can use for collages or for little accents in the journal. And the main idea behind this ephemera pack are these file folders here and what you can do with file folders. And that means there's a ton of page tabs in this ephemera pack. So I will make an example, but I will not open my journal because I made this ephemera pack without the journal in mind. Yeah, I tried really to ignore the journal, meaning the imagery of the printable I have in here, the color palette, I tried to ignore the color palette completely, and also the style. So I just made this independently from this so that I don't influence myself, because what we collect can be so different in color, in style, and so on, that I wanted to have something which is completely different to this, so that this is like really the reality of junk journaling. Hopefully that makes sense. So in this ephemera pack, there you get a ton of these page tabs. And when you cut them out, you can see they are like this, like mirrored. You have a front side with a little more embellished area like this here. And then you have a back side. I call it like that. You could even see it the opposite way, obviously. And then you can glue that together like so. I will demonstrate that with a paper clip here, because I will not glue it to this paper here, but I use the paper as an example. And then you can put that to your page like so. And then you have a page tab on the page. Can you imagine that this is glued down like so? And then it looks, you know, nice from this side and nice from the other side. And because here is no decoration yet, you have the possibility to make your own decoration here. And oh my goodness, look how terrible this looks. This is just a piece from my scrapbox. But can you imagine? You can always, you know, have always two pieces which go back to back, and then you can do it like this. Or what you obviously also can do is you can use these separately. Yeah. So you can, for example, take this and just ink the backside, or glue a book page to the backside so that it's not white, or you can scribble on here or whatever, and then you can use this piece for something else. For example, you could make a second layer like so, so that you have more of this page tab look here on the edge, or use it in a totally different way. These page tabs come in different designs. So there are two sheets where you get the front and the back of these bigger ones. And let's make some more examples. By the way, these pieces you can see here in the background, I made by myself in reality. So these come from my own craft desk. Let's take a look at them here from the back perhaps. I made these ages ago when I made my teabag birds printable. Perhaps you remember that. Really popular printable, by the way. But these little things here come from that printable. So I made them in reality, and then I scanned them so that I can use them digitally as well. And I thought this fits so well to this ocean theme, because yeah, this reminds to waves somehow, a little bit like the beach or so. And this cheesecloth here, I just love that. This reminds a little bit to a sunset or so with these orange colors here. Yeah, so you get these bigger things, page tabs, and then you get the same page tabs in a smaller scale in the printable. I did that because many of you have already appreciated that for some of my past printables, where I also did that for you, so that you don't have to resize the printable by yourself, but that is already included in the printable itself. Yeah, so you can just print it, and then you have both of the sizes coming out from your printer. But the designs of these smaller ones are the same like from the bigger ones. Can you see? It's the same, but it's smaller, so that you don't have to do that by your own, but it's already included. And these obviously work the same. You can put them on here like so, so that when this is on the side of a page, it's just smaller, so that you have more space around for other things. Or you could also, of course, take these and put them, for example, like so, to the shorter side of a page, or cut this a little shorter and put that to, you know, a journaling card or so. But we will make some examples during this video, and there will come more videos with this printable in the future, I think, because this is, I think, really versatile. In this printable, to quickly finish that, there are also some bigger tags, and I tried to really mix the style in the print within this printable as well, with some things in, yeah, just in different styles. And I'm really in love with this little file folder card here. Look at this bird. I really love him. Yeah, here are also these. As you can see, really different. But that is, for me, this is also really different in style compared to the others. But I think when we look at this, this is somehow like junk journal reality. We collect something and then we have so many different things which we want to keep as a memory, but how to bring that together and how to bring that into a journal. Let's try that. I will quickly get rid of this mess and then we can start, okay? Okay, so here we go. I just made little piles around me here, so perhaps I can zoom out for a second so that you can see what I see. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no. It's not far enough. Oh my goodness. Hopefully that works for you. Let me do it like this, because I want that you can see what I see here when I open the journal now. And this is, and I want to be really honest, yeah, this is the first time I open this journal after I printed this and cut the pieces out. As I said, I didn't want to influence myself while making the, oh my goodness, while making this printable here. And what I see here is, I see that for the first time now. And I think when you do that and you look around and see the whole thing in combination with this, then you can perhaps get a feeling for what you want to do, what you can do, what is possible and what not, hopefully. I mean, oh my goodness, wow, that nearly gives me goosebumps, because I mean, it fits together. Yeah, for example, the turquoise here, but it's a totally different color than in the printable. Not on every page, but yeah, this, for example, it's really, really weird. When I look at that, it's really weird. And also the orange, holy moly, oh my goodness. I was, to be honest, secretly, I was hoping that it's so different. I mean, if you are a color nerd like I am, then you probably see what I see here now. Oh, this is terrible. Look, this is the perfect example. Oh my goodness, look. Somehow, I mean, this is crazy. This is really crazy. Somehow, I think it fits. If I ignore this top part here, then I would say it fits. But if I include this, can you see how terrible this is? Oh my goodness. Okay. But I think with these pages where we have the red and the orange, it's, oh my goodness, this is absolutely terrible. I would say the pages from the Raggedy Turtle Bloom collection, which have the turquoise and the red, so for example this page or what I've just shown you, that would be okay. But this with the other colors, it's just crazy. Let's find another of those pages. Oh my goodness, yeah, look. Oh, I have absolutely no idea if we can make that work. This fits better. Oh, look. Somehow this blue, that fits way better to this. How about the blue with the other pages? Yeah, look, that is terrible as well. This is absolutely an absolute disaster. Can you see that? And obviously that can happen if you collect things from, you know, from I'm already starting questioning my whole life. I mean, what is this? Oh my goodness, why am I doing this to myself? Because I want to have good content on my channel and I want to show you the reality, obviously. But it's like a war for my eyes, because what is this? I mean, it's absolutely crazy, but it's the reality, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Oh. this blue in combination with this, it's absolutely terrible, but that is the reality. And if you now think, okay, I don't have the printable, I don't have other things because I don't have a printer, obviously you can try what I do here now with things from your stash as well. Yeah, that's why I had these in the beginning. It's absolutely terrible. This reminds to ocean somehow. Here I did a little experiment. Okay, this could work. This is absolutely terrible. So I have just picked random pieces from my stash. So that is something you could do obviously as well if you want to craft along here. So how shall we start? First of all, we will zoom in so that you don't see the whole catastrophe here. Stay here. And then perhaps we could start with some of the bigger / medium-sized page tabs. Let's see. Let's just grab one. I've just picked the one which was on the top there, and let's see where we could include that. Let's say we have that, and we have that from somewhere, and we want to, this is too long, include that somehow. So I have now taken these. When I cut this out, I have taken a paper clip for 2 of these, yeah, which belong together, so that I can also store them like this in my stash, so that that I don't get confused when I want to use them, and that I don't have to search for them when I want to use them. And this is also another aspect of this experiment. When you already have things on the edges, what can you then do? Because, you know, you have then perhaps limited space for something new. How to do that then? Perhaps like this, but we would need something here as a connection to this color here, because I think it's absolutely weird. How much space do we have on the other side? Not enough if we don't want to cover this up, but we could make that a little shorter and then try to make this fit here. It would also overlap the pocket a little bit, depending on how far we would glue it to the inside. But I think this could work, but I find the proportion a little bit weird. Perhaps we should take a smaller one. Let's see, let's take the same one but in the smaller scale. That would be this one. Yeah, look, that looks way more harmonious. And it would work here as well. Okay, I have not inked these up yet because I didn't know which color I want to use, but when I see this now, I think I would like to go with a lighter brown than I have used for inking the pages and the rest of the ephemera here. For this here, I have used scorched timber ink and also some rust water and coffee, which makes the whole thing really dark. But let's go with walnut stain oxide ink for the Down the Shoreline ephemera pack. Shall we let this overlap here, or shall we cut it off? Well, what is a junk journal? Different things come together, right? Let's let it overlap, but let's then find something to make this look not so strange. And then I glue this down here, and I made these so that you can decide how far you want to let them overlap. You could take this edge here and line that up with the edge of the page, but you can also, of course, let that peek out a little bit. Can you see it's not completely lined up there? That can also look nice. Here you can see it probably a little bit better, that it's not completely lined up. And then we take this and glue that to the other side. And then, what about here? What can we do here? I would say we take something like either a tape or a little strip of something. Oh my goodness. What if we take these dots here and make something like a faux washi tape or so? Hopefully that will look good, otherwise I have got this and then it doesn't look good. Let's ink this with walnut stain as well. And let's then perhaps take something from here. What is this? This is a little muffin tray where I have all of my pieces which are not paper I've used for, you know, making fluffy things and so on in the journal. And perhaps it helps when we take a few of these pieces to get a connection to the rest. Because what I have in here, I have in other spots in the journal as well already. And perhaps that helps to connect this. This, for example, is a leftover piece from the fabric from the cover. It's really wild, isn't it? I'm not so sure if I like that. Perhaps like that, and then... No, I don't like this piece there, but perhaps here, give me a stapler. Okay, so let's glue that down, really. I'm just thinking if we shall put something under here, and I still have these die cuts here on my table. I have used these for what we made in the last video. I'm just thinking, what if we put something here where this straight thing is, and here it's straight, here it's straight, it's straight everywhere, and this piece is straight as well. It has all of these 90-degree angles there. So what if we do it like this? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. What do we now think about this color? Since I have 2 pieces left, which also have this style and the color and, you know, these dots, why don't we take another one and think about putting that somewhere here in the other direction, not like so, like it is here, but like this somehow. This is not glued down completely, so it can function like a little tuck spot. We could even somehow enlarge this tuck spot. Let's try that. Let's take this and perhaps this. Then we have a third piece in this color and style, and perhaps that is good because an odd number of something is always good, isn't it? I'm not sure about the position yet, but let's see. Perhaps even here. It's a little bit much. Why? Oh yeah, look, that looks more harmonious when it's not so much, but it's there and it's a little bit hidden behind this or under this fluff here. And here, what if we take Another thing from the printable, I have also all of these in the printable. So as you can see, these are, yeah, like a snippet of these. I will explain what I mean. Here you can see on these bigger ones, so this is one of those which we already have used here. And there you can see this in the background. Yeah, this is part of that because it's on the print. And here I did that separately, and I've put a little, you know, digital washi on here so that you can use these separately as well. And I thought when we have that here already, we could also change these by taking these and, for example, do something like this so that you can easily, with just this one piece, get a way more layered look to these page tabs. Hopefully I'm not the only one who finds that cool. And there are different designs now, which could make sense. Yeah, I thought perhaps like so, you know, that we glue that on there. I also made some which are a little bit bigger, like this one here, for example. Oh yeah, this is already the one I want to use, I think. Here, my gluing surface is not so much, so I will take this and I will take a little piece of tape to put that additionally to the back so that I'm sure that this can't fall apart. Okay, so now it's on there, that it looks like this. And then we can perhaps also put it under here. I have tried, when I made this, to glue these only on the edges so that I still have always, when I work in the journal here, still have the possibility to tuck something under here. But I want it even more to the edge. Also no problem, because we just tear this off and then it's under there. Because I think this layered look, that is really cool. And then how do we need to glue this down now so that it still stays a tuck spot? We need glue in between here and here so that we can tuck something under here. But shall we use the chance to put something under here as well, since this is not glued yet? What about a little piece of lace? Ooh. What do you want to tell me? Oh no, it's falling apart. Oh no. Do you want to be this small? Okay. Oh yes, okay, it wants to be this small, look. And then, shall we perhaps also... I wish I had printed this page from the ephemera pack in approximately half size, like 50% or so. Then you could include a tiny tag in here. That would probably look really nice. But even if you haven't done that, I mean printing the printable smaller, let's see if it's possible with this as well. Here on this tag you can see this file folder look as well, so perhaps we can use that as an inspiration to cut this off like so. Like so. Then we can use this as a piece of like faux washi or so as well, later somewhere else, I mean. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a tag shape, right? It could also work like this. Oh, That is cool. So then we put glue here, then here, so that this can be on here, but there's no glue under this piece now because I want to, as I said, keep this as a tuck spot. And then we can take this piece out. We can put a little bit of glue here and also here, but only to the edge. I will also put a little drop under here so that this is connected, and I will glue this back to where it was. This little thing told us that it wants to be here. It's somehow weird, isn't it? And do you know what? This has now somehow no landing spot for the eye. I mean, this little star here is somehow like that, but not so 100% like I would want it. That would be better, even if it would cover all of this. But it's also not visible enough. It's a little bit too small, I would say. Ooh. But what about this? Okay, and then you don't forget to glue this on, please. And perhaps we could think about something which we could now put in the tuck spot. Shall we use something from here, perhaps? That is not so bad. I don't like that so much because then, you know, we can't see the bird. This would also work. This is absolutely terrible. That could also work. This is absolutely terrible. Oh my goodness. Doesn't work at all. Okay. Let's choose either this or the tag. I think I like the tag even better. Shall we add a little tab here or here? I think that would look really nice since we have this here now and this in the printable. We also have, for example, this here. You can see this is somehow, it looks somehow weird and it looks like it was a mistake in the digital, but it isn't. This white line is just where you fold this to make a little tab. I will show you in a second what I mean when I have decided which one I want to use. This could already work. There are also some in here, where are they? Which are more neutral than the one I've just shown you, like this, for example, where you can then make your own decoration, or you can decide for this where the decoration is already on. This is probably a little bit too big. They are also in there in a smaller scale. Yeah. Let's perhaps take this neutral one because he is already going on so much. So this little white line here is meant as a help so that you can see where to fold this. Of course, you could also cut them apart and use these pieces separately. You don't necessarily need to fold them. This is obviously like the same design shape-wise like on the others, but now you can also take this and glue it on like so, so that then this thing is in the other direction. Yeah, here this element peeks out and it's not straight, and here when you put it on like so, you have this on both sides in the other direction, and this is straight, and of course gives you the possibility to add even more here. Or what you also of course could do is you could put glue in between here and then just glue it on like so, like on the other piece, or cut it apart and glue one piece here and the other piece on the other side, so that you then have that on both sides. Does that make sense? Hopefully. When this is later on in here, it could look good if we had a little something here. Yeah. It's a little bit loose. That is because of the construction of this thing. What is going on the other side? That would be possible. How is this meant to use? Okay. It's meant to use like this. Ooh. Oh. Then this is really strong. And that is the perfect addition there. I'm so glad that I have hoarded these for such a long time. So what's going on here? This blue, it's a little bit like the writing here, but that blue is a little bit extreme, isn't it? It's a little bit like this here. Oh, look. It's a little bit in here. So that means we are going to take this color, faded jeans, I would say. Could work. Hopefully. Let's take a little bit of that and then add a little bit of water. To add some splatters, and then I add more water so that I get bigger splatters and more translucent ones here on the turtle, or in front of the turtle. There where it's not so much diluted with water, it's exactly the color. Here it turned out a bit different, but I'm totally in love with this, because here where the beads of this little thing here are close to the splatters, it has exactly the color. And that's what I was looking for, that we have something here in the ephemera pieces which is here as well, and then it's probably not so extremely important or not so extremely bad that this is not exactly the same color, but we have this blue there and that connects it somehow. Okay, what do you think? Was this first round of this experiment successful? I would say yes. I would be really interested in your opinion. When I look at this spread, I think many people say my work is busy, but this is another level of busy, isn't it? I mean, what I'm missing here are also some splatters, perhaps. But very neutral and not so much. Let's take white. I think this is one example of how I think a junk journal can look in the end when you say, now I'm finished and now I have worked in it. Because, you know, in the beginning we had something where we already had something. Do you know what I mean? Where already, you know, a lot was going on because there was a design of these pages. And then we added our own things, like, for example, you know, collected things from a holiday or things we had in our stash and wanted to use, like this paperclip or so. And now it's a really wild mixture of everything. And that is what I really, really like. Even if that makes it obviously totally busy. But I think that is, yeah, that is one thing which fascinates me so much about junk journaling. I will probably do more of these examples in the future with the Down the Shoreline ephemera pack, and, you know, in combination obviously with the Raggedy Turtle Bloom collection. But as I said, you don't necessarily need digital paper for an idea like this. You could also try that without digital paper if you, for example, don't like that, or if you don't have a printer or so. I hope you could get some inspiration from this, and perhaps we will see you the next time. Bye!